I'm Bethany Marvel, and today I'm going to be talking about Samhain. This is a Gaelic word meaning summer's end. I'll be talking about the background of this holiday, the rituals and traditions, and the prayers that are said. I wanted to show you a few ways how this is pronounced. If you see here, it looks like it should be pronounced as Samhain, but these are more close to how they're actually supposed to be pronounced. In Ireland, is pronounced Samhain. Wales, it's Samhain. And in Scotland is Samhain. Beginning with the history, this is the most important holiday in the Celtic year. November 1st is the start of the Celtic calendar. So Samhain is on October 31st. So it's kind of like our New Year's Eve. This holiday used to be found all over Europe. During the 8th century, Pope Gregory I tried to convert the people by replacing their custom beliefs and pagan holidays with their new Christian holidays and beliefs. They tried to replace Samhain with All Saints' Day on November 1st. They made people more afraid of the things in the dark and stuff, and they emphasized that some of the things that were in the dark were like demons and stuff like that. And those who continue to celebrate Samhain became more or less called witches, and the Celtic underworld became the Christian hell, and it slowly but surely it became our traditional Halloween. Samhain is now considered a pagan holiday. Alright, with the rituals and traditions, a few rituals. I'm just going to list a few because they're really difficult. They celebrated the end of harvest. They did rituals for animals. They honored their ancestors. They did seances during Samhain. They hosted a dumb supper. They honored their god and goddess of Samhain. They celebrated the cycle of life and death. They did ancestor meditation and tons of Halloween traditions. With their traditions, like they did carving of pumpkins with lights inside, bobbing for apples, lighting a bonfire, telling ghost stories. They even decorated their tables with bread, squashes, leafy greens, corn, meat, apple cider, candy apples, pumpkin pie, apple pie, acorn squash, green beans, and much, much more. Basically, some of these traditions, like we do still during Halloween. So I found this kind of funny. They also would burn incense. And then they would have to be grateful and do a prayer over candlelight or bonfire light. Next and last, Samhain prayers. There are several different prayers that would be said. The first one is the prayer for the final harvest. They would honor the end of harvest and the dying earth. They would honor the agriculture cycle and the importance of earth's productions. Next is the kids' prayer, which tells that during Samhain is not actually a night to be afraid of. Another one is ancestor prayer. They honored the bloodline, your ancestors, everything. They would incorporate this into a meditation or rituals. They would actually put out like little offering plates for their ancestors, kind of like the Chinese and Japanese do. And then prayer to the gods of the underworld. They would honor some of the deities associated with death and the underground. To conclude, the history of Samhain is a very ancient, and our Halloween is the result of Christians trying to get rid of it. The rituals seem quite a bit different from what we do now, but traditions are very similar to what we do for Halloween. Finally, the prayers may seem a little odd to many people, but it's important to those who are considered pagan. All right. And to finish this off, I'd like to give an example of one of the prayers that I had mentioned, the prayer for harvest. So here we go. Corn has been shucked, grain has been threshed, herbs have been hung to dry, grapes have been pressed, potatoes have been dug, beans have been shelled and canned. It is harvest season, and food is ready for winter, and we will eat, and we will live, and we will be grateful. Thanks, guys, for listening to my speech.